Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Chapter 12 of Doron Dororon. As usual, we will have our spoilery-free section, which will last 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll get into the full spoilers for the chapter. This was a fun little chapter, and this one, it really shows not just how the creator humans very well, but how the creator is fighting against certain tropes that have become tropes due to the constraints of storytelling, specifically the restraints of television. Now, the trope is that in television and books, everybody speaks on the phone perfectly. Somebody calls them, they answer with 100% perfect professionalism, a perfect social sense of exactly how professional you should be in the given situation and how casual you should be. So someone picks up the phone, hello, and then the other person starts talking, they transfer their information perfectly. Now, this is a major trope, especially because of television and movies. You only have so much time. You are tremendously restrained by time, and you don't want to waste any time in getting that information across. So because of this, a very important element has been cut out of these animated or televised interactions. The things that people are awkward, there are misunderstandings, there are mistakes, people don't understand each other's intentions perfectly, and this often goes back and forth, and in real life does eat up a lot of our time and energy. And this is especially true if the character is supposed to be a super competent hero of the series that we're supposed to be rooting for, because these are painfully awkward interactions often. And it just, again, this trope is formed partially because of the practical limitations. There are only so many panels in a comic. You don't want to bog down your reader with unnecessary words, but primarily television has time constraints and you don't want to waste time on these awkward interactions. So it's very unusual to depict the misunderstandings and the awkwardnesses that goes on in conversations, especially first conversations between people who are only recently have only recently met each other. And I don't know if this is a deliberate choice on the author's part or whether the mangaka here has just felt that this was the best part of the story, but we get this just supremely awkward moment, 2 of them between 2 different characters, and they're just getting things wrong. They're having an awkward conversation moment. There isn't even a phone involved. This is 2 people talking to each other face to face, and there's just misunderstanding after misunderstanding, and you can see that they're both having 2 separate conversations here, and they're trying to uphold their own dignity, and they're feeling embarrassed, and they're accepting their own moments of cringe, and it's just layered upon layered in a short 22-page manga chapter. And this is an excellent manga chapter, and there's no cringe inherent in it, but it displays the cringe that people feel when they are having trouble communicating with each other, and the errors, the mistakes that the main characters are making, which is a really, really great thing in my opinion. So much mediocre media does not display the common human errors made by the main characters, and it just makes these characters come off as feeling very 3-dimensional, very real, very human. And I just love that. And there's a lot going on in this chapter, but that was kind of my main takeaway from this chapter. These are humans with their standard flaws in communication and understanding, and I just love it. Now we are going to jump right into the spoilers, so I will give you a chance to click away. You can check out the links below my video. Humans are weird. I have the data. Humans are weird. We took a vote. Meet very human humans in these books of human absurdity, showing what will happen after first contact when we have to get to know our alien friends on a more intimate level. So, what was going on in this chapter? This was an aftermath chapter. The big overarching story arc happened in the last chapter, and now our characters are having to move on and deal with everything that's going on. Specifically, our Kusanagi is first seen talking in a room with the head of the samurai, and he does seem to be treating him as a person, talking to him. And it's a very good sign. Then we see the pragmatic aspect of the samurai. The leader of this group assigns that super competent guy we were introduced to in the last few chapters to take care of them. What's his name with the highlights and the intense gaze? Anyway, he's assigned to train Kusanagi and Dora, and of course take Kusanagi out if he becomes a threat, and that's left up to his decision. Now, he does seem a very competent fellow. Then we get the interaction between him and Dora, where Dora enthusiastically and sincerely thanks him for both saving them and standing up for him. And Dora is making the assumption that this guy is so cool that he doesn't react because, it's just, that was just my job, just doing my job. But then the super cool guy is actually almost moved to tears by actually being appreciated for once in his life, sincerely appreciated, and not just being treated as another tool in the machine. And again, it's just this lovely bit of misunderstanding and miscommunication and imposter syndrome. And it's just so very human and so well written, and it really only takes up 2 pages. And it just goes to show that how a really skilled creator, be they a mangaka or an author or a television producer, can fight these old tropes that were caused by the limitations of the medium if they're clever enough to do it. And I suppose if they have enough creative freedom. That's another thing about writing or manga. I think you really have a lot more creative freedom to present certain elements that the necessary limitations of television and movies restrict. Then we have, of course, the training scene where we get our next big goal for our protagonists to reach. Although their attack power is impressive, Dora still has no supernatural energy. And we find out that supernatural energy is necessary to self-defense. And without supernatural energy, there's really no point in going out there to fight, because a fast enough attack that you can't use your sword to block with is still going to take you out. So that's the next big challenge for Dora and Kusanagi. If Kusanagi can't figure out how to protect Dora with his supernatural energy, which is not what they say in the thing, but which is the obvious step, then they can't fight as a team, and Kusanagi is probably going to get chopped up into little pieces or something like that. Although they might try getting Kusanagi to cooperate with someone else if they can, which Dora would be probably okay with if it meant that Kusanagi could live. So here's their next big challenge. Can they figure out how to use Kusanagi's supernatural energy to protect Dora in combat? So what do you think? Leave a comment telling me what you thought of this chapter. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, and Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.